Let me show you exactly how this happened. Starting with a world where honor meant everything, retreat meant shame, and death was often chosen over surrender without hesitation. During a brutal sea battle, sources suggest he was struck by a fatal bullet, yet he ordered his officers to hide his death so morale would not collapse. Imagine that moment, waves crashing, cannons firing, men screaming, and a dying leader whispering commands, choosing victory over his own life without hesitation or fear. His final wish was simple: do not announce my death, because the battle is not finished yet, and according to records, his fleet fought harder believing he still lived. That decision reportedly saved thousands and reshaped an entire war, proving that leadership does not end when life fades. It ends when belief disappears. Now here's where things get really interesting, because not every heroic death was calm, controlled, or honored in the moment it happened. Fast forward centuries later to a battlefield filled with smoke, screams, and confusion, where modern weapons turn seconds into eternity for those trapped between retreat and resistance. Witness accounts suggest he was found surrounded by enemy soldiers, his body riddled with wounds, still standing near his final position after the fight ended. Think about that, a man sworn to heal, forced by circumstance to become a final shield, choosing death so others could live a few minutes longer. But wait, bravery does not always happen on battlefields. Sometimes it unfolds in prisons, courts, or public squares, under the eyes of crowds and rulers. Throughout history, execution was meant to erase people. Yet some final moments turned punishment into legend, defiance into memory, and fear into inspiration. According to historians, certain condemned figures used their last words to challenge kings, mock tyrants, or expose lies, knowing death would only amplify their message. Picture a silent crowd, a raised blade, and a voice that refuses to beg, because sometimes the most brutal moment is also the most powerful statement ever made. This pattern repeats again and again, from ancient empires to modern wars, where death becomes a final language understood by everyone watching closely. I'll explain why this matters in a moment. But first, understand this: heroic deaths are not accidents. They are choices shaped by culture, pressure, and belief systems. In many societies, honor demanded sacrifice, and surviving disgrace was considered worse than dying painfully, a mindset difficult for modern viewers to fully grasp. This brings us closer to the deeper truth behind history's most brutal endings, where personal courage collides with systems far larger than any single life. Before we continue, remember this: the most shocking part is not how these people died, but how their deaths were later used to shape entire generations. As stories spread, leaders realized that a powerful death could unite people faster than any speech, because emotion travels quicker than facts, especially during fear, loss, and uncertainty. According to sources, some rulers even delayed announcing deaths, shaping timing and details carefully, ensuring grief turned into loyalty instead of panic or rebellion. This tactic appeared across cultures, from ancient kingdoms to modern states, proving that final moments were not only personal, but deeply political tools. One ruler often mentioned in such discussions is Toyotomi Hideyoshi, whose death reportedly triggered fear, power struggles, and eventual collapse of carefully built control. His final days were surrounded by secrecy, and according to historians, all eyes hid truths while rivals prepared, showing how death creates dangerous silence before storms. That silence mattered because power hates emptiness, and the moment a leader falls, ambition rushes in faster than mourning ever could. Plot twist: not all heroic deaths were meant to inspire nations. Some were deeply personal choices made when escape was possible, but conscience refused it. Sources suggest several figures could have fled, surrendered, or survived quietly, yet chose to stay, believing survival without honor meant living already defeated. This mindset feels distant today, yet we still see echoes when people choose principle over comfort, truth over safety, or sacrifice over silence. History magnifies these moments because they reveal something raw, a line people draw when pushed beyond fear into meaning. So what does all this mean for us today, living far from battlefields, swords, and firing lines, watching these stories through safe screens? It means courage is not always loud or violent, but it becomes unforgettable when someone refuses to abandon others or themselves at the end. These final moments remind us that character shows clearest under pressure, not during success, applause, or victory parades. In the short term, such deaths reshaped wars, borders, and leadership, but in the long term, they shaped values passed quietly through generations. Children learned names, soldiers learned symbols, and nations learned stories that defined what bravery should look like. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes these lessons were simplified, removing doubt, fear, and flaws to create cleaner heroes. Real people were messy, scared, wounded, and unsure, yet still acted, and that is what truly makes their final moments powerful. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know, and it changes how we see every heroic death ever recorded. According to many historians, the most heroic act was not dying itself, but choosing how to face death when control was already gone. That choice, made in seconds, reveals more than years of speeches, victories, or titles ever could. It connects a Korean admiral, a wartime medic, fallen rulers, and nameless prisoners across centuries through one shared decision. They chose meaning over survival, responsibility over fear, and others over themselves, even when no reward was possible. If this opened your eyes, remember these stories are not about death, but about how people lived until the very end. Like, subscribe and share if history's hidden moments matter to you. And watch the next video where another forgotten truth waits to be uncovered. Like, subscribe, share.